Hey everyone, today I'm going to share with you how to create quizzes in Canvas so that every student gets their own unique version of the quiz. Setting up quizzes in Canvas is actually very easy, especially if you're familiar with other assessment tools such as Formative, Socrative, or even Kahoot or Gimkit, because it follows similar steps as creating assessments in those applications. So we're going to start here in the Quizzes tab in the menu here in Canvas. And as you can see, I have a couple of quizzes lined up here that were just test quizzes or I've given out as actual short assessments. So we're going to add a quiz right here on the top right, and then you're going to name your quiz. So we're going to name this test one. Um, Once you scroll down, you have all of your options for your quizzes. So you can sync it to PowerSchool. You can either have it graded, ungraded, practice quiz. You can also set it to whether you want it as an assignment or imported assignments. And for me, the most important button I ever check is the shuffle answers option, because if you're giving a multiple choice quiz, you definitely want to be shuffling the answers so that the students are not getting every single one as A every time. And it kind of gives you a little bit of leeway with how you want to structure your questions too. You can also set time limits. You can allow more than one attempt. Or you could even have the students have their feedback immediately or at a later time. And um, you can even structure that time so that they get their feedback at a specific time or exactly as soon as they finish their quiz. You can also set some restrictions, such as an access code. I don't ever worry about the filter IP addresses. Honestly, I don't even know what that means, so we're going to leave that one out. And then, of course, just like an assignment, you can assign it to any particular group or student, which is kind of helpful if a student's been out and you want to assign them either a separate quiz or another version of the quiz or the same quiz. You can always add them individually or as a group. And then, of course, you can set your due dates and the availability of the quiz for the students to be able to see. The really cool thing about quizzes in Canvas are that you can actually create a unique quiz for every single one of your students so that every student is getting a different, unique version of the same quiz, meaning that you can either set the questions yourself and hear all your different question types, multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, etc. You can kind of play around with this and see what they are, or you can actually, and then again, set your answers, or you can set up question banks or question groups so that each student, sorry, let me just get rid of my question here before I do that. Or you can set up question groups so that each student is getting, let's say you want 10 questions for each student, each kid gets 10 questions. You can set up a group of 20 questions, and then Canvas will randomly select 10 questions out of that 20 question bank to give each student. And then you can set up different banks for each question type. So if you want kids to get 5 multiple choice questions, but you want Canvas to select from 10 questions, each student will get 5 of those multiple choice questions. Then you can do another set of 10 fill in the blank questions, and then those kids can get 5 of those questions. That way, each student is getting a random set of questions from each question group, and it's super easy to set up. So if we have our question group right here, let's say this is our multiple choice question group. We're going to create this group, and we can always edit that later. And then once you do that, once you're in the question group, you're going to go over to the right and add questions to this question group, or you can edit the question group. So let's say I want it to pick 5 questions for each student and make it 1 point per question or 3 points per question, for example. Updating my group, and then, 1 point per question. And then I'm going to start adding questions into my question group once I've updated it. So now I'm going to go add questions into the question group. The first set of questions are going to be multiple choice. So for this example, and then I can set my correct answers. My correct answer, and then my incorrect answers. And then I can update my question. You can do this for as many questions as you want in this question bank, and then it's going to choose 5 questions for each student to select from within that question bank. Then you can do another question group, for example. And from here, for example, let's say we want to make these questions fill in the blank. And again, we're going to create questions in this question group as well. And now these are all going to be fill in the blank questions. You can be more specific with that. They don't have to be fill in the blank multiple choice, and you don't have to separate by question types. I could make all of my first section questions opinion questions, and my second set of questions straight factual based questions. So again, it's really easy to set up questions. And then the really neat thing is once you assign the quiz, each student is getting their very own version of this quiz. Then once you publish the quiz to that class, or you can save it and then publish it later, the really neat thing is how well it moderates the quiz for you. Unfortunately, I can't really show you that through my screen right here because you'll be able to see the scores from my students in their past quizzes. But it does moderate the quiz on the fly, and it really gives you a lot of valuable data and feedback on each of these quizzes. So creating the quiz, again, that's what this video is about. Creating the actual quiz is very easy here in Canvas. And again, if you have any other issues that were not covered in this video, you can always check the guide that I created for you. So good luck creating your quizzes, and I hope that this works very well for you in assessing your students.